Hey Google, restart video.
Hey everyone, Scott Ennis, voice actor, Hollywood actor, movie star. Don't believe all that. I'm a legend in my own mind. Hey, you know me better as the voice of some of the most popular cartoon characters in the world. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Scrappy-Dappy-Doo, Puppy Power, Blank and Shaggy too. And you've got the Sullivan Project podcast coming at you right now.
That's right. Hey Google, stop. Hey Google, set your volume to 50%. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sullivan Project podcast. I'm your host, Harold Sullivan. Thanks to Scott Ennis. Hey Google, stop. Thanks to Scott Ennis. See, I always wait because them technologies, they do what they want. You know what I mean? But thanks to Scott Ennis, the voice actor, for the opening. He's been doing it since a little after the start of the podcast for me. I had to pay him on Cameo, but I turned that into a little bit of opening, and we have an original theme behind it for the Sullivan Project podcast. But if y'all haven't tuned in before, I've actually been blind 3 years, a little over 3 years. In June it was, and I was born with an autoimmune disease. I've been in a wheelchair since I was 9, 10 years old, maybe a little younger. I quit walking back then. I'm 45 now, and just trying to make it like everybody, one day at a time, right? That's what they say. But until you live that way, you really don't know what it's like. But we all have problems, you know. We like to say on the podcast, everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover. We all got stuff, and your pain is your strength, not your weakness. So if someone don't want to hear, what you got to say, that's their problem. But it's good to get stuff out and don't keep it in, because you really can help yourself and you really can heal. You don't have to be a certain way. If you want to be something else, you have to be different. These are little soloisms I've been writing. I actually have a book about my life I'm trying to put together, some songs I've been writing, and I just have help whenever people can help me. If you want to help or be part of the show or be a guest, audio or video, and talk about anything spiritual, metaphysical, supernatural, paranormal, and then just movies, sports, entertainment, food, life, family, animals, whatever, We talk about regular stuff. This is a podcast for everyone about everything. You can check out old episodes, Harold Sullivan 78 on YouTube and TikTok. That's Harold Sullivan and the number 78. And then Facebook, Harold Sullivan period 35. And then you can email HS1978. That's 1978, 2015. And those are all numbers at outlook.com. You can call the show. I might answer. 724-513-1472. Only love and light to, because energy attracts energy. And bad stuff don't exist if you don't believe in it. Like your reality is what you believe. And believing isn't seeing, it's conceiving. So since I lost my sight, stuff has really changed. We got a lot to talk about, a good bit here. Good positive stuff. Well, I actually went to the ear doctor, and because I've been having ear problems, draining and just pain, and I just don't need that on top of everything, But I've always I had tubes in my ears 5 times when I was a child, and I have a hole in one of my eardrums. They told me, but they never said. And this was just a couple of years ago. They told our ear doctor said they didn't say what was wrong, which one, how it got there, if it was, But I can still hear. But anyway, I was in a respite in the hospital and stuff. If you want to find out what happened there a few months back, check out old episodes. But I got out of there sick, in pain, ear infection, and I just started antibiotics, which I always have an effect to. But it's been 4 or 5 days. I think it's kind of working, but my ears are still draining and they still hurt. But I had diarrhea. Oh my gosh, I never heard of or had projectile diarrhea, but it was literally I could not hold it for a couple of days. And that's when I was like, you know what, I gotta go to the doctor because I had an ear infection for a couple months already. And then when they set me up on appointment, it was another month out. So I just went and got that taken care of. And he said, take this stuff for 7 days. It's liquid because I can't swallow pills. I get anxiety from that. I can choke. my mouth doesn't open about maybe an inch. So when I eat food, I got to take it apart. The sandwiches, like eat the top of the bun or the bread, then eat the middle. So, like I said, but that doesn't make me weak or not strong. You know what I mean? Empathy is strong, and love is the strongest frequency. Fear is the lowest. So, but I went and saw the doctor, and hopefully, I'm gonna keep taking this medicine. I got about halfway done almost, and he said if it doesn't in 7 days, it don't stop, call back. So, uh, actually, Dan's mom, God bless, is in remission from her cancer. So she lost her hair and everything. Oh my gosh, she's almost been dead before as well. You know what I mean? We all have certain things in common, and she's still here. We're all here for a reason. That's why you're here. You know, and other people are gone because you still got stuff to do. Figure it out and serve your purpose. Testimony is part of it, though. Telling people what your life is and what you've been through. Certain things will never be carried on or heard again if you don't say them or I don't say them. You know, not everything is going to be online or in a book. You know what I mean? Certain things have to be carried on by people hearing them. So, and everything you hear, don't shut off people because the message can come from anywhere. So always be open and mindful, like they say, and then use yourself as a filter to determine what you should, take as truth, because we all have the detector. We know the truth. So Danny's come by. He's back in the state, and let's see here. He brought the baby. I had my goddaughter, second second birthday. God bless Gabriella. And I had not got to hold Adeline yet, and he brought her, and I got to hold her and put a picture up. So I got to hold. He has two babies under 2, and he asked me to be the godfather. All meant to both. So I got to hold them both. So there's pictures, and that's just September 3rd was Gabriella's birthday, and Adeline's is at the end of November. She'll be 1 year. So Danny did that. We got to do that. Uh, Trying to remember here. Oh, I had a dream. We got some more paranormal. I did some ghost hunting a little bit ago on one of the previous episodes. And then, like later that night, literally 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm laying there awake. It's real hot. It's like 90 degrees, really. And then I just feel something like scary almost, like something rush up on me. And then it got real hot. And I was like, oh no. I thought something happened to me, or I was done or whatever. My body's so sensitive now. But here, the fan got moved and something pulled the cord back, pulled the fan backwards away from me. It didn't fall over sideways or forward, and it's only fallen once ever, and that was like sideways or forward, but it wasn't ever backwards from where it's sitting. So there's no way. Someone had to pull it, and a couple of days later, a pack of crackers fell off the top of the refrigerator. I think a saltines, like, and there's no way that that's just gonna. And that was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning as well. I heard it but didn't know what it was. And my brother-in-law told me in the morning, there's a pack of crackers on the floor here. Well, there's no way something's just going to come by and just. So they say spirits can lift up to 12 pounds, man. That's a lot, or they can move that much. I don't know about all that. But I do know that things can get moved and misplaced. So, hey, Ziggy, what are my stickies? Ziggy, what are my stickies?
I didn't find any stickies.
Ziggy, what are my stickies? Let me tell you about the dream I had, and then we'll get back to that. Well, hold on. Ziggy, what are my stickies?
Okay.
Ziggy, what are my stickies?
I found 7 notes.
Okay.
First note, elf gargoyles Harry the Henderson's robot die Roblox can smoke rings, bones, and yarn.
Yeah.
Second note, daddy dad ear infection pool fan crackers playing.
Ziggy, stop. Note. Okay. Playing cracker. Okay, so I had a dream, another vivid dream, and this is just crazy. This is just a few days ago as well. So please, if anybody, any of this stuff relates or means anything, let me know. Comments, messages, calls, whatever. But I had a dream where me and my father and I were on a boat. Right, I've never been on a boat, and he passed away 7 years ago. So anyway, it's nighttime. We're on a boat. We're down below deck or whatever. It's kind of like a boat, like in Jaws, I'd imagine. And I woke him up, just say something to him. I was kind of, expecting him to be a little, angry or just a little grouchy because he didn't like to be woke up. He wanted like an hour or so, in the morning. A lot of people were like that. But anyway, in this dream, because I could feel all this, so that's what I mean. sometimes dreams are not dreams. But I could feel all this, and then but I woke him up, and it was dark out, and I could see out, and I could see like the dark skyline, whatever. I believe it was New York because I just in my mind. I mean, this is what it felt like. I didn't hear New York, but I saw one building, like one tower, one skyscraper, and I could point out in a big sky and water, and then we look out, and then I was pointing out that there was a plane coming down, and it was coming straight down. I could see it sideways with the wings on the left and the right, and the nose pointed down. And I don't think it was on fire or anything or smoking, but it either hit the ground or water, but it exploded, and then the flames came up. So I'm thinking maybe it hit ground near the water because I don't think the impact of water would have made it explode. But I don't know if it means anything, but this happened recently. So I got a couple other weird things, and then we're going to talk some more about time travel, and then a little bit of some book reviews. I've been doing a lot more audiobooks. I'm actually almost halfway through the audio Bible the 15th time now in about 3 years, and I've listened to probably a couple hundred other audiobooks. I'm doing the Course in Miracles now, which is like 40 some hours long. 40 some hours is pretty long. I've had it for a while, but I had a bunch of other long books and just things. And I'm trying to take my time. I'm actually listening to The Godfather too, which is very good. It's 18 hours or more. Never saw the movie when I had sight, but one day maybe I'll check it out. But Danny's a big fan of The Godfather, of course, and being a fan of Tupac. And I actually said I was done writing songs for a while, but I started putting some lyrics together the other day. Last night I couldn't help it. It's just like these things come in, they have to get out. But I'm gonna see maybe Danny might wanna. I gotta see what his creative flowness is, or his juices. Maybe he wants to collab on a little project. I don't know. With ADHD, it's hard for him to, But hey, when he's good at something he's doing, he can do it. So we played street hockey together, and he was freaking one of the best players, if not the best one we had. He hustled. He would not quit. So, uh, see, talk about a couple old TV shows people might not realize. Harry and the Hendersons was a movie, and then it was a TV show, which I had almost forgotten about, but it was like 2 seasons or so. John Lithgow was in the movie. John Lithgow. It was a movie about Harry. He was a Bigfoot, and he moved in with his family, and I lived with them. And then Gargoyles was actually a cartoon and a TV show. I remember the animated version in a TV show. It was almost like werewolves or vampires. They would kind of change into the gargoyles. They'd have wings. Their real life version, but it was a dark show like Charmed or Supernatural kind of. Ziggy, delete Sticky.
I didn't find any
Ziggy,
about Damon.
delete Sticky.
Your last note was Alf Gargoyles, Harry the Henderson's robot die Roblox, can smoke rings, bones, and yarn. Is that the one you want to delete?
Yes.
Okay, I've deleted that.
Okay, and then Alf is back on TV. Alf was actually an alien show about another alien that crashed to live with a family. And Ryan Reynolds has it on his network. I forget what it's called, but check it out. It's a free app. And then we got some weird things here. Smoke rings have been showing up all over the world, and recently in the USA, just giant smoke rings in the sky, and they can't explain what they're from. Check that out. Also, I did find out there's this weird fact that if you find bones in your yard, human bones or whatever, and if they're over a certain period of time, like 40 years, I think you get to decide what to do with them. You don't have to do anything. You still got to report it, but you know what I mean? That's just kind of crazy. And then how about this? As far as the AI, the world robots taking over. First thing was there's a robot worker in China or Japan recently that committed suicide. A humanoid robot took itself to the top of a staircase or a flight of steps and just threw itself down and destroyed itself after about a year or so of working. Like, what would make a like, really? I mean, there's got to be more to it than that. And another thing is, of course, over there in Japan and China, they're working on putting skin. They've created a fake skin now, real skin that grows out of bacteria that they can cover the robots with so they can look more human at the face. But they can't grow, tendons and muscles, and there's no blood, but they're putting skin. I mean, talk about Terminator really happening. What are we doing here? Are people just stupid now? They want to make them even more real? You got robots working. I did report a while back that California passed a law where they can have robot policemen. So this is crazy. All this stuff is true. Go look it up. We got another celebrity death. Uh, James Earl Jones just passed on. Very famous for his voice. Most people don't know he was the voice of Darth Vader. He was not the guy in the suit, but he was the voice. And the guy, David Prowse, got screwed. Actually, didn't even know that they were dubbing his voiceover, he claims, until the movie Star Wars came out in the 70s. But James Earl Jones was in Roots and just so many other movies, great movies. He did Yellow Pages commercials, and he actually did, what was it, Wendy's Where's the Beef, I think, for a long time. Now Ving Rhames does Arby's, and people are confused. I don't think that's James Earl Jones. But that's not. James Earl Jones is James Earl Jones. And another celebrity death, the other Wild Samoan, one of the other half, passed away. So recently, I think it was Roman Reigns' father, and I'm not sure how to pronounce their names, so I don't want to mess it up. But both Wild Samoans have passed. Jesus. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, James Earl Jones. Second, Babe Ruth ECW X-Files Steve.
Hey
Third,
Google, stop. So we're going to talk about some book reviews and then get into time travel a little bit more. This is how I take notes now. I got the G word and the Ziggy. So, and other things, to listen to audiobooks. God finds a way, spirit, whatever. There's something out there. You don't have to stick to one, thing or be a category or, just believe in you, if anything. But if you just think that we're just it, that's kind of shallow in itself. So, ECW, it's called, oh shit, I forget what it was called actually, damn it. I just got done with an audiobook. That's ECW, uh, Hardcore History, I think it's called Hardcore, something, yeah, ECW. I was looking for something about Paul Heyman, and stuff. He was very good. I mean, he revolutionized. He did so much with no money. In ECW, they only lost about 6 million in their 8 or 9 years, as whereas WCW lost like 60 something million in one. They said they claimed 1 year, and so he was right up there. But of course, McMahon bought out both WCW and ECW, which started off as Eastern and then went to Extreme Championship with Paul Heyman. But he brought in so many Van Dam, Malenko, Benoit. I believe Kurt Angle started there, but didn't want to be affiliated with them, of course, because Raven was there too. So many great wrestlers started there, and they did this whole crucifixion thing one time, which there's so many things you can push too far. Even burning a flag, I think they did that in WWE a long time ago, which is, just I don't care. Just there's certain things people shouldn't do. So it's a good book though. Check that out. ECW. I've actually listened to the death of WCW and the death of the territories, which are other wrestling books that are good. And then Jim Ross has a couple books, Under the Black Hat and Slobber Knockers. So the announcer. We got The Truth is Still Out There, 30 Years of the X-Files, which is a pretty good audiobook. It's not real long. They're available in print too. Uh, I learned a few things about there, but one thing was that they didn't put in the book was a fact that I know. There was a talk. There was talks between doing an X Files Unsolved Mysteries crossover episode that never happened, and they didn't even mention that in the book. So they did mention though that I think Disney owns the rights to the X Files now. They're talking about doing some kind of spin-off, which they already had the Lone Gunman spin-off years ago, which predicted the towers crashing. They actually had that in the whole episode before it happened, which might have shut down part of the reason why that show didn't work, because it was like, wait a minute, they just predicted this whole event, which a lot of the X Files did that with a lot of stuff. They were ahead of their time. But yeah, Pamela Anderson, I guess, was in, up for the up for the role of Scully, and so because they wanted somebody with big chest, and long legs at that time. That's what they were doing in the '90s, and so it would have been totally different. Of course, they wouldn't have. I don't. They wouldn't have worked. And they wouldn't have hired Pamela Anderson, but uh, so it's a good book. 30 Years of the X Files, and then we also have. Uh, hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, James Earl Jones. Second, Babe Ruth ECW X-Files Steve. Third, Craven the Hunter
Hey,
Christopher
Google,
Reeve
stop. So we got Steve Gonzalez from Ghost Hunters has, I think it's called Life with Ghosts or something. It's very good. He has an audio version he actually reads. And recently I got done with audio with Adam Berry from Ghost Hunters. He has a book called Goodbye Hello. Steve actually mentions in there Meatloaf, which is great. His book actually is pretty much it talks about his favorite episodes of Ghost Hunters and the places he's been to, and very insightful. And yeah, Meatloaf was on there, and he was a ghost hunter. And they have a method now they call the Meatloaf method, where they just talk to the spirits, ghosts, whatever you want to identify them as, and just be nice, be human, and just talk and do that approach. Try to help them out. You know what I mean? They're there, and something's up. And if that was you, what would you want to do? So, and then we have Babe Ruth. There's a book called the Bam. What the hell is it called, Babe? Or the Big Bam. It's called the Big Bam, BAM, because they call him Bambino. But it's a pretty long audio book too. And back in when Babe Ruth first started, the career highs and home runs was like in the 20s. They didn't even try to. Home runs were accidents. Same with the speed limit. It was like 15, 20 miles an hour. Most people weren't driving. That's when you had to do cranks, I think, on the car. You had to get out and crank the engine. People don't remember that. You had to open the side of the engine and crank it. There was a crank you would take off the car on the side. It was attached. And you would crank the car up and it would go a little bit. That's how the battery ran. You had to charge it, I guess. Until they figured out a way to have the wheels and all that charge it while you were doing it, which is cool while you're running it. Because that's how the car works. But so it's a great audio book as well. And yeah, Babe got cancer at the end and died. There's so many great stories that people don't know whether they were true or not. Like when he pointed, it's called his shot. When he told the boy in the hospital he was going to hit home runs for him, and he hit 3. I mean, Babe actually married like a 15 or 16-year-old when he was 19, and then his wife died, and then he didn't even know how old he was till he was like 48, 49 years old. He thought he was a year older, I believe, than he was. And when he went to finally get a passport to travel, he had been off by a year, and he had been off by 1 day on his birthday. I mean, I can't imagine that. But back then, in the 20s, 30s, 40s, that kind of stuff happened. So a couple new commercials for TV shows or trailers for movies, actually. You have Craven the Hunter, which is Marvel Studios. Actually, it's probably Sony with Marvel, but uh, those companies are owned by different. Half the rights are owned by Marvel, half are by Sony. So when they want to use certain characters, like when they brought Spider-Man into the Marvel verse, they have to get the rights and split the money. So, and then you have the Christopher Reeve story, which is a documentary movie coming out at the movie theater. So I'm very interested in that. I mean, he made us believe a man could fly, but then he ended up getting paralyzed from a horse accident years later and dying. I mean, Jesus. Like I said, we're all here for something. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, James Earl Jones.
Hey Google, delete the
Second.
first one.
Done. It's forgotten.
We're going to talk about some time travel now. I did another episode about time travel, and we might do a few more. I got some more books I'm going to listen to. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Babe Ruth ECW X-Files Steve. Second, Craven the Hunter Christopher Reeve Wild Samoan Time Traveler. Third, Doctor Who X-Men Days of Future past the Flash Spider-Man.
Okay, so we got Doctor Who, which of course is a great show. It's been, I don't know, it's got like 50-some seasons, which I never checked out. But maybe I'll listen to episodes of that in the future because everybody raves about it so much. We got X-Men Days of Future Past, which is one of my favorite time travel, quote-unquote, movies, where they send Wolverine back into time to try to fix things. So it's a time travel movie. And then we also have The Flash, same thing, but it's kind of more like a multiverse, where he goes back and he meets with Michael Keaton Batman, and I don't want to spoil that for you, and lots of other cameos. Same with Spider-Man and No Way Home. All the different Spider-Mans and different villains start coming over from other universes and things. So I guess you consider that time travel kind of. So yeah, I'm mentioning some good time travel books and movies, TV shows. Write in about this if y'all can think of any other ones. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Babe Ruth ECW
Hey
X
Google,
Files
delete
Steve.
the first one.
Done. It's forgotten.
Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Craven the Hunter Christopher Reeve Wild Samoan Time Traveler. Second, Doctor Who X-Men Days of Future Past the Flash Spider-Man. Third, Time Travel History A to Z Philadelphia Experiment Millennium Time Bandits New Jack.
Okay. Time travel, uh, A to Z is an audio book, and they have a regular version of that. And then History and Time Travel, it's another book, two books. Uh, there's one of Time Travel in the Fourth Dimension. I think I mentioned that before, which talks about everything from shadow people to aliens, just all these possibilities. We got a couple of movies. New, what's it called? Is it New Free Jack? Free Jack, which is a movie with Estevez, Emilio Estevez, where he time travels. He goes back, and there's a guy who's about to die in a car accident, ends up in the future. I guess somebody wants his body or something. It's neat, and they're trying to get the parts from the past. And then Millennium is another movie like that, where it's just a whole airplane of people disappears. And Chris Christopherson and a couple other people. Uh, he was in Blade. Uh, and a few other movies. There's some other stars in that, but it's a very good movie. So it's called Millennium. Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Craven the Hunter Christopher
Hey Google,
Reeve
delete
Wild
the first one.
Done. It's forgotten.
Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Doctor Who X-Men Days of Future Past the Flash Spider-Man. Second, Time Travel History A to Z Philadelphia Experiment Millennium Time Bandits New Jack.
Okay. And then we got the Philadelphia Experiment, which is based off of a true story, supposedly, where that ship disappeared in the 40s and some of the crew went to the future in the 80s. And there's a movie about it. Check that out. It's just this whole conspiracy that they say that they were trying to make the ship disappear, but it actually went into the future. They were trying to cloak it, I guess, with radar. And then Time Bandits is another fun movie. I forget what I think it has little people in it. I'm not sure if it was Spielberg or something like that, but hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
Here's what you told me. First, Doctor Who X-Men
Hey
Days
Google,
of
delete the
Future.
first one.
Done. It's forgotten.
Hey Google, what did I want you to remember?
I remember you told me. Time Travel History A to Z Philadelphia Experiment Millennium Time Bandits New Jack.
All right, well, New Jack. It's actually Free Jack. New Jack City's a different movie, but I think it's called Free Jack. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna be back soon. Maybe we'll get some guests. I do have some cameos coming up, celebrities. My nephew just had a birthday, and so we did a little celebrity cameo from him, from somebody from Supernatural, for his birthday. So for Steve, happy birthday! I love you, and we'll be back soon. Remember, love is a choice, and so is to hate.